It's Mother Love coming to you live and in living color from my podcast, The Mother Love Show. We have amazing guests on the program, and we are a light in this dark world. And it's not me. Well, no, my light shines pretty bright, And if you don't get too close to me, because you get too close to a star, you'll burn. And we just want to. Now we just want to. We are going to keep some life and some love and some happiness in what we do. Because, I say this all the time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is mother love. This was my assignment, and this is what I'm doing. And I know that, we look at what's going on in the world with these wars just coming on from, it's just like we've been hit from all angles, from every place. And it's not just the United States. Did you all know that there was so much animosity inside of this young guy who went berserk in Australia? And it's bad enough that it's happening here. We look at the this death and destruction, and I'm seriously, and it's overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming, and I'm like, if I'm overwhelmed, I'm sure that there are other people who are way more in a horrible, terrible place. And you don't see any love. You just see destruction and, dropping bombs and with drones and killing up children, women and children. I think it's real trifling for anybody to think that, oh, you should rule the world, because everybody wants to rule the world. You want to lose the world, rule the world here in the United States. You want to win the war over in Iran and Iraq and, all these other, the Ukrainians are getting the crap beat out of them. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that the United States has a lot of, I don't know if that's a lot of allies. And that's the whole point of having allies. If somebody comes and jumps on you, you got to jump back. And I remember, and I'm not a violent person under any circumstances, I'm telling you. And so, uh, I'm of the mindset that sometimes you have to go to war. I get that. But what are we going to war for? What do we want to accomplish in the interim? What are we trying to accomplish in the interim? Do we want world peace, or do we want to continue with world chaos? And the crazy that is, I said y'all was crazy over there in Israel, and Hamas is using women and children as human shields to keep the fight off. When they got up and jumped up and said, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna bomb Israel. I want to know what kind of stupid that took for you to hide behind women and children. And I'm talking about all these terrorist groups. I know what a terrorist group is. I've been terrorized before. And being terrorized is, and all of this took me back to, it took me back, Okay, which one do I hit on? Okay, that's going on. They just come here and forget I'm doing a live program. Welcome to my world. And so it's just so much devastation. There's so much death and destruction. When you bomb somebody and you try, and you know what? Look up on the globe and see just how big the Gaza Strip is, and see how big Israel is, and they're fighting over this. I understand about the fight for your land. Okay, but do you just have to keep killing up one another? How come you guys cannot sit and talk about a conversation and talk about what's going on? And then the ICC, the international, that program, Google that, said that, well, we're not going to do all of that. We're just not going to do all. And when you don't want to sit together and find out what the real root issue is, and I'm still trying to figure out why people keep picking on these smaller countries. And Israel is not that big, and they said, it's just me. How did they not know that this was coming? I mean, somebody had to know that they were going to do this. And I guess you'll think, well, if somebody told it was on the enemy side, because the Israelis claim that Benjamin Netanyahu claimed he didn't know anything about that. And now you just want to bomb people. It seems like just for the sake of bombing. Russia's bombing in Ukraine like, hey, why not? So what, our stuff is blowing up. China will give us some more stuff. We'll get some more stuff, because don't think we don't have allies. Okay, fellas, you might not want to hear this part. You're not going to live forever. Now, your legacy will live forever. And what do you want? What would that look like for you, for your grandchildren? Because these wars are cutting off bloodline. I shouldn't even say cutting off. These wars are slaughtering the next generation. And you're turning these boys into resistant fighters, and you're putting a gun in a 6 and 8 year old's hand, and you tell them, go in there and shoot up at your mama. Go up there and shoot up the whole village. What is that going to accomplish? What is your end game? I mean, and if you feel like that, just say so. Don't keep with all this namby-pamby BS. Oh, well, I'm still trying to figure out why Russia bombed Ukraine. I know why they bombed Ukraine, which is stupid. More than anything, it must have been Putin's, big ego trip gone awry. And all they wanted was to be a democracy. And sometimes when I look at that, all the stuff that it says in our Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and, a lot of people just look at it as words. And I'm sure that the founding fathers and everybody that came after them saw, and they think we're in a utopia. Oh, it's just so glorious in the United States. I can't wait to get there. And people are dying, literally dying across borders. Because I know all you think about is, okay, with the boy, we got what dude said. He said, we're gonna build a wall. And do what? He did nothing about building a wall. And it keeps going. And so, and this is another thing about the borders and people coming into the country. Maybe you don't know this, or maybe you're just ignoring this. They're coming in from all sides. They're coming in from the north. They're coming in across the boat. They're coming up from all of the Latin countries. You got people coming in and who are dying to get here. I mean, the horror stories. Families working to get into the United States and, be free, the home of the free, the home of the brave. You're brave enough to get in that water and walk across, and the coyotes are paying them with your life, with the life of your children. And you all are just acting like this is no big deal. This isn't normal, and I won't normalize it. I'm not, nope, I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to call a lie a lie. I mean, that's what I do. And they don't think about that. They never talk about people coming in and across our borders over in Canada, coming down the West Coast. They get to Canada. Canada sends them down to America. They forget about them. They forget about the people that are coming in on the East Coast. They're forgetting about the people that come in from Cuba and all those countries over there. And they're fighting with their lives for their children's life. I never would have known this was a thing until I started getting involved, and everybody screaming about, we can't keep letting people in on the border. We can't keep doing that. We have to find a way to stop them. Okay, well, I don't understand. If you really want to stop people from migrating to the United States, especially illegally, and you want to really do something about the migration from their country into our country. And I mean, the numbers are staggering. We're talking about millions of people that are still here illegally because they would rather be under the radar and be free and take care of their families than not. And I said, well, how come we don't send aid to the countries, like the Honduras, Mexico, all of these places in the southern region? Why don't we just help them? And I think the first group that needs to be helped, that ought to be helped, is us, American citizens. Like I said, I don't have a problem with helping my allies. I don't have a problem with helping our friends. I don't really have a problem with any of that except for the fact that our administration, several of them, and they continue, will help somebody else. When you're talking about sending $60 billion to Israel, where do they have $60 billion worth of stuff that we got to take our taxpayer dollars? Because people, we do pay for the military. Don't get it twisted. We do pay for the military, and oftentimes we don't know what's going on. And I think it was something. This was a couple years ago, and this was brought to the table that they want billions and billions of our tax dollars, but we don't get billions and billions back from these countries. I mean, everybody's doing business with China. I went to China, okay, and I saw the slave layers. I saw these children. They'll go start with this place. The guys come down, from the trees and what have you, and you see a whole assembly line, and it goes from one group to the bigger group, and then they get in the middle with the boys, because the boys go up and get the resources, and the men go up and get the resources, and the girls and the women utilize those resources. Excuse me, and they keep oppressing them. I mean, it's just really like just off the chain. And I don't know, I don't understand. Sometimes when Mother Love get befuddled, because I am befuddled. Of the stupidity. I think it was, I don't know who it was, could have been me sometime. You can't fix stupid. You can't fix ignorance. You can't fix hatred. Oh, but you can. I'm not buying one single solitary word about that, because the only thing that's going to help with darkness is turning on the light. Turning on the light and being strong enough and passionate enough to stand out and say, I'm for this and I'm for that. I mean, when we got people protesting in the streets, we protest all the time. I remember when I was a kid, we were protesting. I was a teenager about that time. People were protesting against Carl B. Stokes, who was running for mayor. A black man, and people just went berserk. And then when he won the election, I mean, he brought in some big guns back then. He brought in Jesse Jackson, the SCLC, the NAACP. You pick it. They were there with us in the 60s, and we were standing on the front line saying, this country is for all of us. Why do you just want to keep pinching off and say, this is only good for this group, or this is only good for that group? What about the group of mankind? What about the group of not poisoning our atmosphere? What about the group who are not standing steadfast and telling families, oh, you don't need a man in your house? And then you, as a woman, you go, oh, well, maybe I don't need him. Maybe the government, they help take care of me. Maybe I could get a welfare check and I don't have to go through all of this. And trust me, I have heard it. And oftentimes I'm like, really, Mother? What are they thinking? Young woman I met, been knowing her for quite some time. I met her when we were still teenagers, and she was one of them little fast girls. All the fellas wanted to see what she was like, and it started to be a war going on with them. Who was going to get her first? And we can make up stuff. We just make up stuff to be angry about. And then you ask people, well, why are you mad at so and so and such and such? Why are you mad at your brother like that? Why you treat your sister like that? And it's always, some chaos and some crazy. Listen, we all come from dysfunctional families. And even if you believe way back in the day, you believed in the Leave It to Beaver, he's been on the show too. He's been on the program. And okay. And now when I was telling you earlier about how we have so much darkness in the world, well, now we're bringing some light into the world. This one, okay, you got to come fix this. I can't hear her. Okay, I'll wait. So anyway, back to us and people thinking, oh, we're never going to change this. We're never going to fix it. We won't fix it if we don't work on fixing it. I mean, if you live back east and it starts to get cold and you turn up the heat turn on the radiator, and it's still not getting warm. And you do all of these things to make your house more comfortable, to make you more comfortable. And then you find out you didn't put enough water in the radiator. So the radiator can't exude steam to keep you warm. Okay. And so I'm always looking for places to keep me warm. Well, warmer than my husband does. And that's a big giant feat. I don't even know why I said that stupid stuff, because it is not the case. He's very warm. He like having my own protective blanket. Hello? Okay, this still isn't working. So nonetheless, we keep moving, we keep growing, we keep dreaming, and looking at these wars, looking at how the people, the terrorists inside of Africa. I mean, I don't understand why you want to destroy your whole country, why you want to destroy your own people. I don't get that. And I don't believe, oh, well, I think I might have a rat now. Wait a minute. Okay, wait, you sideways. Okay, wait. Just so you know, that is Roslyn kind right there. And they're working on the, this is what happens. You know, that's why we ask, can it come in a little early so we can get out the glitches? But I can't hear her. Somebody's moving the camera rather frantic. Well, when they get that together, in the meantime, okay, because she is all about love. She is all about light. Hi, Roslyn, can you hear me? She can't hear me. Back to the story, folks. So this is just like so stupid to me. Okay, I was telling you about my friend, this lady I know, and she started having babies and, very early in her life. And so by the time she got to, I'm going to say by the time we turned 18, she had 2 kids. Maybe she was 19. I went off to college, so I didn't keep up with the statistics. And come to find out, when I got back around that group, and I asked, everybody said, why she keep having babies? Why she keep having babies? This was her response. Because the more babies I have, the bigger my welfare check would be. And I'm saying it very calm and very, really, because that was the stupidest thing I ever heard. So this what you're gonna raise your kids on? You're gonna forever in your life with your children, they're gonna always know, well, we got money from the welfare department, so I don't have to worry. I just have more kids. Like, really? Hey, Roslyn, can you hear me yet? She can't hear me. Okay. So when she said that she could get a bigger welfare check, I was outdone. What kind of mentality is that to have? And I tell people all the time, listen, I was on welfare for 3 months. And all I kept saying is, I got to get back to work. I got to go back to work because I'm not going to allow somebody to tell me how much money I can make on my job or if whatever my vocation is. I'm not going to sit up and let somebody, the government of all people, to say to me, well, you can only live in this section and you can only live over here in that section. I think that's probably where they came up with Section 8. Okay. Okay. She can't hear me. Can you hear me, Rosalind?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you, my dear. That was an ordeal, huh?
Yeah, it's probably going to be another ordeal the next time I do
No. Oh, so you don't do this often?
I don't do this way that you connect. I do Zoom.
It's pretty much the same as Zoom. It goes in a different direction with Restream. Well, nonetheless, we are happy that you were here. And so I want to just let people know this lovely lady is Roslyn Kind. She is a performer. She's a singer. She loves animals. And how you gonna be upset if you don't stop moving and showing me your neck, girl? We will have the neck of Roslyn Kind. So. Oh, okay, yeah, but you keep moving. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just leave it right there. You got it right there?
Yeah, I've got to hold it.
Oh, you have to hold it. See, you got to get one of these doohickeys. You got to get one of these doohickeys and hold up your phone. Okay.
Right now it's sitting straight.
Oh, you got. So let's find out about the lovely Roslyn Kine. Tell me where you come from growing up. You got brothers and sisters? What's going on with you?
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Flatbush section, East 26th Street. I have brother, I have a sister, a baby in the family as far as the brother and sisters. Otherwise, we have nieces and nephews. What's going on with me? I've been singing since I'm a child. And, my mother sang. My mother had a beautiful voice. My sister has a beautiful voice. My nephew has a beautiful voice. And there's some other members of our family that do sing, although they're not doing it professionally.
Let you make all the money.
No, not me. I have my sister makes a lot of it.
Oh, your sister makes more money than you. Wait a minute, you performed with your sister.
Huh?
You performed with your sister.
Yes.
Okay. So do we let the cat out of the bag now, or let's just talk about you and we'll let that cat out later? Because you go around the world.
So, that to me is an addendum to my life. It's not about me. It's an interesting fact.
Tell them what the interesting fact is, because I don't want to get all because I did.
The interesting fact is that my big sister is Barbra Streisand.
It still sounds good, like right now. Oh my goodness! I remember waking up to her on Saturday morning because our mother was like she loved music, and we didn't know what we were get waking for. I mean, she was on the list. She was like a regular on the list. We could wake up with Scott Joplin. We could wake up to Charlie Pratt. I'm like, why are we? And that's when I found out I loved country music. Oh my goodness. I was like, that's like soul music and something else put in there, and it's the soul music and the blues. Now, to me, that's what country music is. Because you don't have a problem, but that's in music, period. When you can sing about your pain, when you can sing about the distresses in your life. And that is
sing about the happy times too.
You have to. And people get with the woe is me. I don't want to get.
Trouble is, Mother Love, that too many people are negative and filled with hatred and fear, and this is something we have to eliminate.
That's what I was just talking about before we finally got you on, because music is an outlet, and we need you guys more than ever now because of what you just said. The hatred, the riots. I'm like, when are they going to pay attention? And when are we going to pay attention to say, oh, we don't like that, so we got a way out? We can go to the ballot box and kick all labor hands to the curb.
Vote. Everybody's got to vote.
Everybody.
This year, I thought we were in danger in 2020. In 2016, we had to put up with 4 years. And I am just kind of frightened with what's coming, with what's going on with the GOP. It's not the GOP anymore. It's a frightening bunch of
hypocrites.
It's just awful. And what they're looking to sell to this country is negative, and it's authoritarian. And that, to me, is what's frightening right now. So they're looking to kill off our democracy. No, we can't let that happen. We all know what we stood for, what we stand for, how this country came into being. And everybody needs equality and acceptance and fights for their rights. And there shouldn't be fear planted. People should love each other. We have the same color blood when we bleed. We come from the same God essence of the universe.
Well,
and we need to learn from each other and contribute to each other.
And you got to be out. But you have to be out with them. You have to be among the people to see. And more often than not, I'm telling you, Roslyn, there are so many good, great, phenomenal people who are pushing back on this crazy. And it must be addressed. And, it's all up in our face. I mean, before you couldn't go into the grocery store and just slap somebody because they're black, or punch somebody in the face because they're an older person. We had an issue out here not too long ago, and it was just ridiculous, where people were running up to an elderly person that they saw shuffling, and they got it on video. And this cat just walked up to this elderly woman and just punched her in the face so hard she fell down. And he ran up thinking that was funny. They don't remember karma. They don't, because they're going to have to pay for this.
They may not know about karma. A lot of these kids now that are younger, if it's a young man, they weren't even born before 9/11. You know, I mean, there has been a growing amount of a resurgence of anti-Semitism and hate for what you don't understand, or the fear that you're losing power. The problem is that everybody should have a certain amount of power, not to rule others, but to get along on equal levels, to respect each other, to love each other, to embrace what's good and what's a difficult problem in between. You need to discuss, to understand and break through. To understand and love each other.
And we're not going to always agree. And they always, society always wants to put a label on us. And I'm gonna tell you what they're really scared of, Roslyn. And let me tell you what they're really terrified of. And you can look at what's going on in the world politically. Men, and this has been since the beginning of time, men don't like the fact that we are the ones that continue with the generations. You can be there, you 50-50 there, but when it comes down to it, they're just pissed off that women can make a choice in our lives. You don't get to tell me where I can live. You don't get to tell me about my, what I should think because you said so. I mean, we got crazy old men in the system who are running the country that says women need to go back to being barefoot pregnant in the kitchen. Another one says something so stupid.
The other night I watched the movie and the iron jawed women that fought for suffrage, fought for women's right, the right to vote, and what they were put through, and we finally got it, is unbelievable to me that we're coming into this situation again. Because they would love to tie women's hands behind their back and rule them. And it's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen.
We have uteruses.
Too long to have our rights.
We are mother love. We're the ones that bring the next generation into the world. And what they don't want to see is women having more control than they do. I'm like, that's just kind of stupid. And they hold that over people's heads. We hear so often.
Why mutual admiration and respect and love has to come into play. People need to think with their hearts, not with their greed and not with their desire for power. Everybody should be powerful. Everybody should have the right to have some power, but not to overcome another, just to get along on the same level.
We're not going to live forever.
Respect each other.
We're not going to live forever. And what I don't get is why they think they are going to live forever. And what's going on. And yeah, we got some glitches in our political system, but nowhere near like this. The former team in the White House. I mean, the only thing I ever heard about him doing well was when he gave the richest of the rich. That they don't ever have to, worry about it again. You done gave the biggest power of money into the bunch of crazy people, and you think we're just gonna go for it? And I think another thing they don't like, I don't think they understand Bitcoin. I don't think they understand advertising. I don't think it's just like, let it be my way. Nobody's okay. You know what? We're not gonna talk about that right now because both of us gonna start having a headache back here. Okay. I want to talk about you. I want to find out about you and growing up with the songstress in your life. And you're a superstar in your own right because you sing around the world.
I don't exactly call myself a superstar.
I do.
But I am out there with a gift that I was given by God. And it's in my genes. It's in the gene network from the maternal grandfather on down. And I came into realizing what my purpose was in 1984 in a past life regression. And that is where I stand. I am here to heal. And whatever way I can with my voice, with my messaging and my music, I want to bring people's hearts together.
And we need that.
Make love. Because love is love is love. That is the equality. We all have to.
And that's another thing they're all up in our business about. How do you think you get carte blanche to tell me who I am, who I love, who I get to love? And see, this is why they don't let me out too often. Because, see, I'm like you. Oh, I'm just going to say it. The only way I'm going to be silent is I'm going to down this keyboard. They're going to say, Mother Love was talking to Roslyn, and she just went. That's how, because when you do what you love, it's not work. And so much evil and hatred is cutting off our creative growth. And it's just, when they took, this is just me, when they took the arts out of schools, when these kids can let out, because music just brings everything up. Let me ask you this now, when you go out on stage, because you've been doing this for a while, when you go out, Do you still get butterflies?
I think anybody who doesn't get nervous, there's something wrong with them.
Okay, see, I thought it was me. I thought it was me.
To me, whenever I saw somebody that thought they were so fabulous when they went out on stage, their talent wasn't all that wonderful. The ones who really are talented always get nervous.
See, and I kept saying, why do I still get butterflies? I mean, when I was sitting over here, I'm like, okay, y'all got to fix this. And we have issues with them. Now we don't. And it's just so wonderful to be able to speak to you and to find out where your heart is. And your heart is right on your sleeve. And you probably got half of it right here on your forehead. So people can see how bright your heart is and how deep it goes. And you know, as a woman, we go through hell and high water just to get here. You know, and then they start getting here. Then they start getting PhDs. Then we start running companies. Then we start hiring you. And they forget about, oh, you're the same one that want to chase me around the office and act like a prick. Shut up, mother. I'm just saying. I mean, I remember going to, I started doing stand-up. So I was doing stand-up and I had this little promotion that I would do. And, you know, because sometimes, you know, your boss can act a total jerk. He's a prick. And you really can't say anything to him about his prickness because you might lose your job. You know, you might get demoted. And this is a high-profile oil guy. I'm not going to call it oil company. I mean, he was a big muckety muck. And he had an office full of only women. And I said, well, where the fellas at? Oh, I don't need men out here to do this. I did. Okay. And so when I got there, what they did was I said to them, well, he can't fire me. Write down a list of stuff that you want to address with him and I'll come and do it. And they gave me a bunch of money and I went in and did it. If his face could have fell out behind his shoes, it would have. And we have to stand up and support each other. That was the reason for telling that story, because I want people to understand collectively, we are even greater than we are individually. You know, so that's where the uplift comes from. So now, was it easier for you to get involved in show business with your sister being so famous? You had to do it on your own though, didn't you?
I do it on my own. I mean, I faced a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. I mean, people said, why do you want to do it? Your sister's so big, it's going to be not easy for you. And it wasn't, because everybody compared me to my sister.
How did you get through that?
We're two different people.
Mm-hmm.
We have talent that comes from the same gene pool, but we are different. And what's similar, I can't fight because it's part of who I am. Mm-hmm. It's my birthright, you know, the genes that come down from your roots. You know, you can't destroy those. Those are part of you. Mm-hmm. But as far as we do have many different, even the way we perform is different when we're on our own.
How were you able to make sure that your voice would be heard, sans your sister? Because it had to be pretty difficult. You said you had some struggles. What was a couple of the biggest struggles that you had, and how did you fight through them? How did you, make that work?
No, it's not, it's like time and space. Mm-hmm. I mean, all I can do is be out there and be the person I am. And, I've always felt that I was good at what I did. As I got older, I got more confident, and I got, like I said, I past life regression, and my reason for performing today is very different than it was when I was a kid.
How so?
Because it became spiritual for me. Mm-hmm. Bringing people's hearts together is my aim. Mm-hmm. It's not about, it's not about the money and the power. It's about bringing love into the world.
And not
being love and light.
And not being afraid, because so many of us, and I'm talking about women around the world, so many of us carry the whole weight of the family, the community, and we forget to take care of ourselves, because a lot of women think, okay, if I put love and put energy into loving Roslyn kind, what am I going to have left for me? And we don't operate like that. Spirit just does not operate like that. You can get completely empty. Okay, tell me.
You put love into others, that gives you the joy and the love and the light back.
And we need that so desperately. And
what you give out in this world, you will reap.
Right.
It's like it may take time or whatever, but I know that I get joy if I've touched somebody's life in a positive way when I perform, and somebody comes over to me and says, when you sang this such and such song, oh my God, it touched me in this way or that way. Oh, thank you. To bring tears to their eyes and then make them laugh. I mean, it's joyous. You take them on a journey, but it's the message of love.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, I never sing to myself. I look in people's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
The venue that I can see with my front rows, I look at people.
Mm-hmm.
I sing to them. I make them part of what I'm doing, because that's how I relate, and that's how I need to relate.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings them into me, and there is love going on between there.
Now, when did you get to the point, you get to the point and you go, okay, yeah, my sister's famous. Okay, but I got my own game. I have my own road. When did you know that you could move people like this? Because like you said earlier, it can come late. I'm a late bloomer. What can I say? And I believe that gives us the wherewithal to continue. So, and we all go through changes, and sometimes, do you ever feel like, what the heck was I thinking? Have I lost what's left of my mind? I'm going to be out here and willing to put myself right here on Front Street and make the world a better place. When did you know you had that ability, that calling?
When people started coming, even when I was 18 and I sang, and this young couple came over to me, I sang When I Fall in Love at this venue in San Diego, and was in San Francisco. They came to me because while I sang that song, he proposed.
Okay, see, that's the kind of stuff.
18-year-old girl, that was a positive message that I caused something wonderful just by my performing.
And you never know. You never know who's watching.
You never know whose life you're touching. So I sing about my puppy, who I no longer have, but I relate to my puppy and people who have puppies. Some of them are sick, some of them are, and I bring feelings to their hearts. I open their soul. Not their soul, but their feelings. To let loose, to show your feelings, to experience your feelings.
And that you can't buy that. You can't make it up. It comes to you, and you never know why somebody is in the audience to see you.
Exactly.
You don't know.
I always say an affirmation before I go on stage.
Uh-huh.
But once I got to this part in my life where this was my journey,
mm-hmm.
I asked God to make me his vessel, to spread his message of love and light. Anybody in my audience who was in desperate need of hearing it, please let it touch their heart.
That's pretty much my prayer. See, we're like-minded, and you don't do it for the money or for the fame. I do this because I have to. I do this because this is my mission. You have to do that because this is your assignment. This is your mission. And when you go out and you still get butterflies, I thought it was just me. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for 412 years, and I'm walking out here like I never did before. I'm like, oh my God, people gonna think I'm crazy.
I don't believe so. I believe everybody the really, really talented people get butterflies. They get a little nervous, something. They have a different way of showing
mm-hmm.
it. I sometimes yawn before I go on stage while I'm waiting for you.
I've never heard that one. I yawn. Yeah, and yawning is contagious. So let's talk about your new venture that you're working on. And you've done this, the Look of Love Island. Tell people about that. Tell me about that. And what motivated you to make such a soulful CD for us to be able to listen to you all the time?
Well, I have done, in my previous years, I did the Look of Love on its own when I first started in show business.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, I added the island. I did them separately. And it was, you go out on tour, so you change up your show. And one day in a rehearsal, I said, I wonder what these two songs would sound like together, because I love to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
I love to create a scenario. And after all, a song really is a 3-act play. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's why lyrics are also so important.
Mm-hmm.
And so we tried putting it together, and I loved the way it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started doing it with the piano and then trio. And then I wanted to record it, but I wanted fully orchestrated. So it took me years to get to that point where I got it fully orchestrated just before COVID. Well, so, and then I wanted today, because you need videos to promote your
Oh,
song.
yeah.
As soon as I was able to, I went and I made the video, which was this year. It was like, we put it out on Valentine's Day, and the message, the picture that I wanted to show, what I wanted to express in my storyline via the video, was that you can find love after 50. Don't close yourself off.
Don't.
You can love after 60 and 70. Don't close yourself off. And also subliminally, in my cafe scene, where I have different people at tables, love is love is love.
I don't understand why somebody wants to tell us who we love or how we love. Yeah. The biggest concern for me is I want you to love and be loved.
That we love.
And when you see that, you have to keep going with it. You have to move through it. Now, once you got to the point of full orchestration, what was that process like? You just said it took a long time, and this is what happened, and
It took a long time before I went to the studio. I did some other songs before, and I wanted to do this medley because I wanted to put it out as a recording. And so I met with my record producer, and we put it together. And that took a little while, orchestra, bringing in a few independent musicians, and everything else was kind of programmed. Recording it and editing it and perfecting it, and that was done for a while now. But the thing that is really new is having done the video to go with it.
That's wonderful. Now, and I want to see the video. And when you started this, and you wanted a full orchestra, that was difficult for you. When you got ready to put all the pieces were coming together, where was your heart and your spirit and your light when you said, "Oh, we can already put this out. This is gonna be the joint." When did that happen for you? When you said you finally got it together?
Well, no, I mean, it's just on everything I put out, I take a lot of pains and emotion. I connect with them. I mean, I have another one out too, which is 2 Jerry Herman songs. It Only Takes a Moment, and To Kiss Her Now. I put my heart and soul into these pieces. That's right now my 11 o'clock number in my show. But it tells a story.
I want you to tell us.
One of my other favorite songs that I perform is Meadowlark from The Baker's Wife. I personalize it, and I tell my story. I don't follow the story that's in the play.
So is this a one-woman show?
There.
Is yours a one-woman show?
Yes.
So that takes a lot of cojones to go out there and have people pay attention to you that closely, and they're listening to everything that you say, and you're doing what your thing on stage. Do you leave it all out there for that performance?
I put it all. Everybody says I give 100 and more. And I mean, and I relate. The important thing is you want to share this with your audience. I'm not singing at them. I make them part of it. They matter.
Now, see, that's the kind of show people. This the kind of show people really need to come and see.
Yeah.
So, who's your audience? Who loves you the most?
I don't know.
See,
I have a gay following. I have an older following. I guess I don't know age groups. You never know when younger people come to see you too.
Right. Because they want to emulate
the stuff that they may not have heard. They come to like,
And that's the importance and the beauty of music, because we can all relate to it. We can all relate to the story, And I think that was what attracted me to lyrics, to the lyrics that you sing, and not just, it's just like one thing, one old baby, old baby, old baby. I'm like, where's the story? When you made it a point, a song has an arc. You got the beginning, the middle, and the end. And your job is to connect all those together. So when they leave out of that performance, your performance has changed their life in some way or form.
And God willing, in a very positive way.
Oh yeah, right. That's not gonna happen. You got sunshine all over your whole face. Your aura is all kind of pretty colors. I'm glad my eyeglasses are like the ones that get dark in the light. Because you have such a great light. when you talk about the struggle, when you talk about all the things that you've gone through, and you're tough enough and strong enough and connected enough to put that together and give it to an audience, that is just amazing to me. I wish I could sing. I can't carry a tune in a push cart. That's why I enjoy solos. I enjoy, men and women, different groups. Now you do this one woman show. How long have you been doing this show? And when do we get a chance to see it?
Oh, it's a different show. I mean, when I started, I had a different show because I started at 18. when I started performing in nightclubs, was 1969. And I made my debut at the Persian Room of the Plaza Hotel in New York City before my 19th birthday.
See, now that's when you knew you were getting ready to go. If you weren't doing this and you didn't listen to the universe, okay, that's just a dumb question because you do listen to the universe. But I'm sure you've had naysayers around. Why you do this, why you do.
You all naysayers, and I had, because I was also a very shy child, so I had relatives that said, "Oh, she'll never go into show business; she's too shy."
Well, how about that part? Well, we know you didn't know.
I mean, everything, the things that go on in show business, and you have good people in your life, and you have people that you shouldn't have in your life, and eventually you grow and you see and you learn and you cut out those that are no good for you. Because right now, today, of all times in my life, I have the most people filled with light and love surrounding me.
And there's no way that can be darkened because they want to be with you. They see the light and the joy.
You also have light. They bring their light to me.
Exactly.
Everybody that was in my video, the crew, the cast, my director, my co-producer, we all connected from love and light.
And that's what we need to do. We can drive out the darkness. You have to take your assignment serious. And I'm seeing people who are really extremely talented, and they're so afraid of success, or they're so afraid that they're going to fail, that they don't want to put it out there. I don't care where it's from. I remember when we moved to California, I saw this little boy walking down the street, and he had the tightest haircut I had ever seen. I mean, he was all decorated and nice. He could have been no more than 11 or 12 years old. And I asked him, "Who cut your hair like that?" And he said, "Oh, the barber down there." So I said, "That's why I'm taking my husband and my son. That's their thing. They go get their hair cut early in the morning to go get their hair cut." So I go on, make a long story short, we take him. I found out he's doing cutting hair in the back of his sister's salon. And so I was like, "Dude, you don't have a license? You just out here cutting people's hair?" You know what? He was like, he looked at me and I said, "You need to go to barber school. And I'm not bringing my husband and son up here one more time until I know you in barber school." Make a long story short, he gets to barber. I didn't think he was going to do it. He gets to barber school. And he's there for like 3 weeks, and it's something like hours and hours. He was there 3 weeks, and he was teaching the other young barbers coming in. I was like, dude, he didn't know he could have his own business. And he's been in business for over 25 years. And he tells everybody, "My love told me she would not let me cut her family's hair until I got a license." And he did. So that's the light that you bring in.
Yeah, I try to be a positive influence
Mm-hmm.
other people in their lives too. And it's like, even when I pick up a phone to talk to somebody in the company,
mm-hmm.
I end up sometimes having long conversations about things.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, "Oh my God, I don't want to get off the phone."
See, now and that's the stuff you can't beat with a stick. You can't promote that. You can't invent that.
Because I just had a lovely conversation with somebody I don't even know. So it's really how
you can't make the host drown. You can't make the host drown. And so when you do, if I was going to ask you earlier, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
What would I be doing? In some way, something beneficial for humanity. I mean, I was going to be a math teacher when I was a kid before I thought about show business. But it's math. To mark my math teacher's papers when I was, but I really always spent my time singing when I was alone a lot. sang, songs that I loved. If I saw a Broadway show, I came home with the album. I did all the parts. I acted it out in the mirror. I created characters for myself and children's shows that were on TV that I loved. That would write myself into a script and make believe acting it out. I would create ballets to like the music of Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And that's really a great skill set to have the ability to talk to everybody, to talk to anybody, to sing to them and let them know.
I came from a place where I was ultra shy and couldn't do that.
Well, we saw how we've seen how that worked out for you, Miss Shyness. Yeah, right. I mean, and that's a story to tell. Now, when you're going through, then you started at 18. What was it like with your friends? Did they always knew that you would do this and that you would be excellent at it?
I sang with the my choral group at Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I sang in the chorus at school. There's a couple of times I performed at a fashion show or something that a class did at the auditorium. And I remember that my English teacher, but I was making demonstration records when I was a junior in high school for my sister's publishing firm. And that's where I was getting my chops in front of a microphone. Mm-hmm. But I was I was a junior in high school. And that's also the same year that I got my record deal. Mm-hmm. So, what was my point I'm making here?
See,
question. I forgot the question.
Okay, see, and I can't remember what I asked you. So let's moving on, because it just went right on out the door.
What would I do if I didn't do this? I'm just saying, I guess I would help others, or I just had a fabulous experience teaching singing from the heart for my friend who works with actors who have disabilities.
And that's another group that, society wants to put aside. I read this horrible story the other day, and we think we got it better in the United States. Oh my God, this is over in India. And the couple had a baby, and the baby had, a certain different kind of deformity with the child. He was a little boy. And her husband browbeat her down so long. And he kept saying, you got to get rid of that thing. You got to get rid of that thing. And I'm like, what kind of crazy is it? And he told her, go throw them in the river where the crocodiles are. And she went out there and threw her baby in the river. And they ate him up. And both of them got arrested. But I mean, how could you do that to your own child no matter what? Not like that. And it was just, when people lose their way, you see how important it is to have mother love and father love and sister love and familiar love in your family, because we can't do this by ourselves. I mean, we think this is what gets me. I'm a self-made person. I'm a self-made millionaire.
Self-made. That's a lie. It's true. It takes a village. It's true. Anybody that has any influence or input into speaking with you, working with you, talking with you, that makes a difference.
And you can't let that poison into your life. And people can be so negative. And what I found out is they're negative like that, and they see you as a threat because you are doing what you love to do. And they're in the back of their mind, well, how come I can't do that? Well, maybe that's not your vocation. Well, maybe like woulda, shoulda, coulda. Okay, either you jump out, you go out there on faith, or you don't. And you got to realize when you jump out there on faith, it's going to be this little tiny thought. And then it's going to get bigger and bigger, and then it's going to consume you. And when you got the light, you can go with it. And people, I don't get everybody want to rule the world. I'm just trying to rule. Yes, I do. I'm just trying to rule my little patch. It's like do my little patch. So when you're out there, because it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of work. How do you keep your voice in tune? How do you keep healthy?
Well, I eat healthy for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exercising as much as I used to. I used to be a fiend. I've been off of it with all the stuff that I've been doing that makes me be in the studio or in my office. And I have to get back, because for a part of my life, I taught exercise. I taught aerobics.
Oh, see, now this would be great now, because as we get older, your body starts slowing down. We think something, and you and I both had a season moment. We're like, okay. But you know, we're the ones that are going to fix it, even with all our menopause, all of our whatever's going on in your life, all of that. It's going to be women that clean up this crap show. That men said, listen, God said, and I know this girl, God said, God made man Adam. And say, I know you believe in God. I know you believe in Jesus Christ. I know you believe the Bible that God made Adam. Put Adam on the planet. Say, look, I'm giving you this whole world. You can name them whatever you want to name them. That's on you. But you do that. Man came along and God went.
How your spirituality, how you follow it. I don't care what you call the man above,
right?
Or you first, or what. The bottom line is treat your neighbor as you would like yourself treated. Be kind.
Be kind to yourself. You know, there are a lot of unhappy people that are not.
You have to love yourself,
right.
I think, before you can love anybody else.
And that's the part I don't get. I mean, I get it because people want to be able to not feel the pain, not feel the anguish, not feel the animosity. So they go to food. And I did the same thing. Girl, I used to weigh 254 pounds. And I lost 111 pounds, and I've kept it all off over 18, 19.
At one point in my life, I was 189 pounds.
Oh, yeah, really?
When I was 14. And I lost 60 pounds in 4 months. But it's been a fight for me all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I always eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it comes in increments. Your diet changes, the way you live changes, the amount of exercise you do changes. But I follow basically a healthy lifestyle.
And that's what's important. I see them all the time in the grocery store, and it just breaks my heart because they don't know what good nutrition is. They don't know what it looks like. And I shop on the peripheral. You know, I just go around the store, and every now and then I go and get me some pasta, but I always incorporate it into my eating plan. So you say you always eat healthy. What don't you eat?
Well, I don't eat a lot of the things that I ate as a kid, like corned beef sandwiches, and when I go to a deli, it's either a salad or eggs or lox on a bagel with low-fat, cream cheese, scooped out bagel. Mediterranean diet, I love Mediterranean, but I also love foods from all over the world.
Oh, you and I. Where's your favorite food place that's not in the United States?
That's not in the United States? Oh my God, because I'm talking about people who have moved here from other countries that have restaurants.
Okay. Because you don't really need
food here, or Japanese food or whatever,
Oh, New York has that. Oh my God. Yeah. I love the fact that you could get up in the middle of the night and go get a sandwich.
As a kid, I had money. I always changed. I went to the bakery. I was always getting cookies and brownies and this, and I'd go to the deli and I'd get all this fattening stuff. Slices of pizza. In my day, pizza was 15 cents a slice.
Oh, can you believe it? And look at the price of gas is the one. I'm glad I don't have an automobile. I do not. We don't.
Mother Love, when we moved to LA with some friends, we drove across country, and it was 22 cents a gallon in 1973.
See, I remember that. I remember we would go to the grocery store. My mother would give us like $2, and she and my father smoked. Right, so they would give you the $2 or $1, and you could get a half a gallon of milk, 2 packs of cigarettes, and a case of Pepsi, and you got change back. And that's why you go to the place and you're going like, oh my God, this is insane. And I watch people that come from other countries.
And I used to be able to go to the A&P or the deli or wherever. I mean, the fresh made rye bread at Shenley's Bakery was like 17 cents for a small loaf and 27 cents for a large loaf. Bagels were 7 cents
a piece.
Yeah.
A piece. Tell people how they can get it.
A one-piece sandwich at the deli was 6 cents.
Tell people how they can get your music and how they can talk to you.
Who talked to me?
I said, tell people where they can get your new CD.
Oh, I am on across the board digitally.
Okay.
On any of iTunes, on Apple, on Spotify, on whatever is out there, on Prime, Amazon, across the boards, it's out there, all my music. And you can hear all the other stuff. I'm on YouTube to see my videos, my other videos, my channel. I have my own channel, roslynkind.com, or YouTube at roslynkind.
So
Yeah.
follow me on the Mother Love Show, and I'll follow you at Roslyn Khan. And where is it at Gmail.com? Thank you so much, Roslyn. Even with the glitches, it is lovely to be able to chat with you. Thank you, Harlan Bowl. I told you we are going to get it together. Now my whole face frozen, crazy town. And remember this, baby, no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. Peace, my dear. You have a great day. And all the platforms that she said, I'm her neighbor on them. So just call them and just have a good time and enjoy the music. And thank you, Harlan Bowl. You did it again at the park. Thank you, my dear. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.